with the university, everybody wants say, oh, my subject is important. My subject is important. My subject is important. So even now, for example, everybody said entrepreneurship is important. Okay, entrepreneurship is important, and everybody have to take entrepreneurship subject. This is wrong. This is wrong. For me, it is wrong. For me, first you have to do semantic test whether they are inclining to entrepreneurship or not. Those who don't have entrepreneurship skill or whatever characteristic, we don't let them to study entrepreneurship. So that's mean what? Education must be designed to suit the people and to suit the need of the country. That is my thought. I give you another example, Indy.
Okay.
Now you read the management book, right?
Yeah.
You read management book. Every book says about how to become a leader. No book telling you how to become a good followers. Right or not? This is, we have to redo back our education system.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Sudin. I think it's already complete and can answer the questions given just now. Okay. One more question, Prof. Is it okay?
Right. Okay.
Okay. All right. From Ibu Selviana in Stima IMMI, COVID-19 accelerates the concept of revolutions 4.0, revolution society 5.0, and a new way of learning in the 21st century, which is all about digital concept. The question is, in your opinion, Prof, what are the opportunities in education related to this?
Now, this is a very interesting and very important. Yeah. Okay. Now we live in the digital era. Okay. We cannot run away from digital society. We cannot run away from digital technology. So if you ask me, okay, is it for the time being everybody must have knowledge in digital? The answer is yes. But the level of knowledge have to be redefined. Okay. For example, I still remember until now, I'm salute my friends. He's a professor, very good professor, but he doesn't know how to use computer.
Many of professors.
He doesn't know. And then I said, how come you are not using computer? I prefer using handwriting because the idea will come through my hand. It's not the computer. I said, okay lah. It is a people choice. Okay, but this is goes by the days. Previously, yes, but nowadays, no. If you want to become a professor, to become a good academician, you must know how to use the technology, because everything, you know, Indy, now when you teach the class, you cannot simply bluffing the student. The student will try to prove through Mr. Google whether what we are talking it is true or not.
Yes.
This happening. That's why sometimes I'm scared to teach students.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof, for your answers. Okay, and then for the last speech, I believe, can you please give some advice, Professor? Because most of us are the lecturers and some of them are students. So what are the advice that you can give for us to cope with this world changing? You know, all the theory, yes, we know, but how to really cope with this world changing?
Okay, number one, if you want to become a good student, good lecturers, or good docent, rule number one, you have to work hard. You cannot go to bed or to sleep at 12 midnight. You have to stay until 2 or 3 while you are young. While you are young, okay? So you must keep on reading. You must keep on digging knowledge in the internet. Do it. Okay, do it, because otherwise you will become a follower and you will become a mediocre. Okay, I always tell my friend, hey, you want to know me, you go to the Google Scholar, because in academic world we always check measure people achievement through Google Scholar, and you type my name, Sudin Harun, and you see how many citations from my work.
Yes.
It is in the Google Scholar.
It's hundreds.
Okay. You have to check.
Yes.
So this is, you have to work hard. Just remember, during my PhD days, okay, in Australia, I have produced 3 books during those years, and then 15 articles during those years. That you have to work hard. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Indy, nice.
Yes.
Hope to see you.
Yeah, thank you very, very much, Prof. Sudin. It was a very interesting.
I'm sorry, Prof. Sudin. I'm Jelani from University Pancasakti Bekasi. Would you like to give me advice? I am a student, but I am employee. Bagaimana I will share the time or follow lecture gitu, follow the materi.
Okay, Prof. This is the students that also an employee. So he asked how to manage the time. Betul ya, Pak? How to manage the time, how to cope with this.
Yes, thank you.
Pak, itu soalan yang baik, hanya Bapak yang boleh jawab, Pak. Tetapi apapun, Pak, Bapak harus punya systematic thinking, systematic way in doing things. Itu saja. Kan? Ask yourself, in one day, how many hours you want to allocate in your study, in your works, and in yourself. Itu. Ya? Seperti macam saya walaupun saya sekarang, saya ada schedule. Biasanya pagi saya akan ke lahan saya. I will exercise, cutting grass, everything, looking after my durian tree. And then at 10 or 10:30, I will be at Internet Center during my academic work. And then from 5 to 7, I will go back to my lahan and doing exercising to keep me healthy. I'm always 70.
Wow. And still cycling ya, Prof?
Cycling. That is very important. Take care of your health.
Yes, yes.
Itu.
Okay.
Nanti Mak Andy boleh saja kalau siapa nak komunikasi dengan saya, kan Mak Andy juga punya nombor HP saya. Yes. Boleh.
Boleh kita bagi di sini ya, Prof?
Boleh untuk diskusi. Kan?
Okay.
Saya
Thank you, Prof. Thank you very, very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that this interesting conversation will be held more and more, but we will have more speakers for today. So I would like to say a high appreciation to Prof. Sudin to be here and then to give us some new knowledge. Thank you very much, Prof.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen.
Itu Mbak Sri ya?
Ya.
Itu tadi Mbak Sri ya?
Bukan,
Oh.
Prof. Yang ini Mbak Sri.
Ya.
Iya, Prof.
Ya.
So
Nanti insya Allah kita ketemu.
Ya, main ke Stima IMMI juga, Prof.
Ya, insya Allah tanggal awal Agustus saya di Indonesia.
Oke. Awal Agustus kita tunggu di Stima IMMI dan Pancasakti, Prof. Thank you.
Ya, insya Allah, insya Allah.
Okay,
Tanya.
so we are going back to Mbak Sri to continue our international conference today. Thank you very much, Prof. Sudin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Indi Netpila BE MBM BMBA to moderate this event international conference. Thank you so much, Prof Sudin Harun. Your presentation amazing and you cheer up. I will do collaboration write Scopus because I look your publication amazing. Okay, Prof. Prof Sudin, halo. Halo, Prof. Oke, Prof Sudin, kita nak tunggu lawatan Prof Sudin di Pancasakti University. Kita nak ajak jalan-jalan Prof di Jakarta. Oke, the next, ladies and gentlemen, will come speak and presentation Dr. Insinyur Paristianti NMP, Head of LLDT Wilayah 3 DKI Jakarta. Please welcome. Good morning, Madam. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Dr. Pestianti, how are you? Okay. Okay, come back. Okay, we wait. Hello? Hello? Okay, the next agenda, ladies and gentlemen, presentation speaker 2, Professor Sukri Langputi, PhD from Patani University, Thailand. Hello, good morning, Prof. Sukri. Okay. Are you ready, Prof? Okay.
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay. Good morning, Prof. Sukri. Swandi Tinchai, Indi Tendra.
สวัสดีครับ
Okay. Kukuhun Mikiole Raksa Supapa. Hap.
ขอบคุณมากครับ ขอบคุณมาก เก่งมากครับ ดร. ศรีเก่งมากครับ
Okay, Prof. Sukri. Okay. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I immediately invite Ms. Nurwulan Kusuma Dewi, MM, to host this event international conference about education, economic, and technology information 2022 research resilient the post-COVID-19 world. Please welcome Ms. Nurwulan Kusuma Dewi, MM.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Sriwartini as MC, and good morning as a presenter, Professor Sukri Langputeh. Okay, are you still in good concentration to follow in this event? I'm sure. Please don't miss it because all of the presenters are the best. Okay, thank you very much. I'm glad to hear in the international conference with the research resilience in the post-COVID world. And I would like to introduce myself as Ms. Sriwatine called me. My name is Devi, and I'm going to be the moderator for the second presenter. Introduce the honorable presenter. He is Mr. Professor Sukri Langputeh, PhD. And before Mr. Prof. Sukri Langputeh begin his presentations, I will introduce him through his curriculum vitae, and I'll begin the first slide of his CV. Okay. The presenter is Professor Sukri Langputeh, PhD, and administrative experience. He has a lot of administrative experience. Member of Yala Rabat University Council, Assistant Director for Academic Affairs and Research, Dean Faculty of Liberal Arts and Social Science, Yala Islamic University, Vice President of Southern Thailand Political Science and Public Administration Association, National Hajj Committee of Thailand, Standing Committee for House Senate on Education, and Standing Committee for House of Parliament on Islamic Affairs. And also he has an academic experiences, visiting scholars at International Public and Management Administration, Malaya University, Malaysia, Academic Fellows, Center of Peace Studies and Conflict Management of Chulalongkorn University, also in Malaysia, in Thailand, visiting professor at Southeast Asian Institute and Academic of Overseas Chinese Studies. And we know he's a special person because he has a lot of awards. One of the 500 most influential Muslim in the world, 2009, by the Prince Walid bin Talal Center for Muslim Christian Understanding, Georgetown University. And then he also get awards as a Muslim Youth Ambassador of Peace International, appointed by Jamia Singapore and ISESCO in 2016. In subject though of Professor Sukri Langputeh, Islamic political thought, political psychology, and international relations theory. Okay, we have total 3 minutes for this session and will be divided to 2 parts, 20 minutes for presentations and the rest for question and answer session. And during the presentation, if you have any questions, please write down your question and I will read the question after the presentation and the chat rooms. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the honorable audience and all the presenters in this international conference collaboration between Pancasakti University and Stima IMMI Jakarta. Moving along to his presentations, and please we pay attention for the presentations. Please welcome Mr. Professor Sukri Langputeh, PhD.
Thank you very much. Ibu Devi, I'm very happy indeed to be with you in this conference. I look at the numbers of participants, I was surprised. It was about 500 plus, and now it is 483. And Ibu Devi, I may run out my computer notebook, and then I cannot plug in because the sparking system in Turkey and Thai plug is different. In case that when I'm presenting my slides, then something happened interrupted, please do share my slide on behalf of me. Well,
Okay.
Since time is very limited, and then we have another speakers to discuss in this conference. First of all, I would like to thank Honorable Rector for welcoming us to be in this conference just now. When the rector was launching the opening, it was the Fajr prayer, where the Subuh prayer in Turkey. It was in 5 p.m. just now, 5 a.m. just now. I am now in Istanbul, and being in your conference in Jakarta, in Bekasi. At the same time, I have a council meeting in Jala Rajapaksa University in Thailand. This is the blessing of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala after pandemic and after disruption that happened. This is really the road towards not only 4.0, but I believe that because of the coming of the pandemics, it will make us going faster for the 5.0, not anymore, not only 4.0. Okay, I think you can see my slides. I put the topic as global education, trends of educational development after the pandemic and disruption. Just now, Professor Sudin has kindly explained, and I think I will not touch so much on what made by the pandemic, so that we have to change our life, we have to change our mindset, whether we like it or not. And since this one of the theme of this conference is about education, so I'd like to focus on this. And since I myself by training am political scientist focusing on international relations, so I try to link between education, which is the main theme of this conference, and the movement of the world, which is not only global, that we are trying towards globalization, but at the same time, because of the pandemic, because of the disruptions, finally we found that being locality is also important. Being yourself at your home, you can also learn. You don't have to go to Harvard, but you can bring Harvard to your room, to your house. You can be a student of Harvard programs. You can be in Cambridge by sitting in your schools. At the same time, you are a student of Cambridge. It was never happened. I mean, it never happened before the pandemic. We don't think about that. We were thinking that one day 4.0 will let us to be, an online program, whatever, hybrid program, whatever. But finally, it comes, times the hybrid education is what I try to say here, global education. Okay, I will move my discussion with basmala, because whatever comes, pandemic or whatever comes after pandemic, as long as we say basmala for Muslim or for our friends Christian, our friends Hindus or friends Buddhists, whenever you try to relate yourself with what you believe in, with what your faith belong to, then you will feel that it is tranquil of your life. The tranquility of your life is very important. Education is something that made you tranquil, made you live with a tranquility. Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And since I myself is Muslim living in Thailand, and jadi saya mulakan dengan Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. As long as I say in Arabic, Assalamualaikum in Arabic means that I'm able to communicate with 1.4 million Muslims in the world. So with this conference is أنا أتكلم بالعربية لأن السلام هذا ونحن مسلمون نحن نصلي بالعربية. Kita semua orang Islam ini, kita sholat dalam bahasa Arab. Jadi berarti kita bisa berbahasa Arab. Karena kalau kita sholat itu satu hari 5 waktu, satu waktu paling 5 menit, 6 menit. Jadi sekali doa mungkin 6 menit. Jadi berarti kita sudah 30 menit bersama Tuhan dalam bahasa Arab. So how can you say that you can speak Arabic? Because you speak Arabic with God. It means that you are global citizen. You are international citizen in the language of Arabic. You know, Wapam Santi to me that kan. Just now, Ibu Sri tried to speak Thai, so now I speak Thai. Khor Kwam Santi to me that Tuktan. The letter is more or less like Onochoroko for the Japanese people because it comes from the same language, from Bali Sanskrit. Okay, peace be upon you in English and salam sejahtera ke atas Anda. Ini bahasa Melayu Jawi yang kami di Thailand masih menggunakan tulisan-tulisan Jawi ini dekat ini. So maybe Patani is the only place in the world now that are trying to preserve the writing of Jawi script because we have pondok-pondok pesantren, more than 500 pondok pesantren are using still kitab-kitab kuning which are Jawi script. So it means that we in Thailand, even though we are very small minority in Thailand, but we are speaking the language of the world. We are speaking the language of Malay people, 300 million Muslim who are Malay speaking. We are just 2 million Malays or Muslim Malays in Thailand, but we speak the language of the region. See, when we speak Arabic, we speak the language of the globe. Okay, even though you are, or even though I am very local myself in Patani in Thailand, but at the same time I myself is a global citizen. So when I try to put together global and local means local to me. Okay, this is the prologue. This is the introduction. You see, the world of education sometimes it is competition. The world of education sometimes it is not everything in smooth way. But sometimes you see this kind of thing. I just saw the photo so you can understand by yourself. You can see in the world of education sometimes we are pushing down others. At the same time, you try to pull up yourself. So it was difficult. I will show afterwards how can we try to change this mindset, these activities into a positive manner. At the same time, what is important that finally you are teaching in your university, Pancasakti, Bakasi. I'm teaching in my university, but at the end of the day, where are we heading our students? Our students are the citizens of the globe. Our students are a global citizen. You are teaching Indonesian students. I'm teaching Thai students. Prof. Sudin Harun teaching Malaysian students. But in fact, we in ASEAN, where are we heading our students? At the end of the day, because of the boundary of the nation, our students cannot be one ASEAN. Because of what? Because of our mindset is not really set to move together towards the same thing. And finally, what happened? Why ASEAN is not anyone talking about ASEAN unity? No one talking about ASEAN one, ASEAN unit now. Because ASEAN is not really something that finally you can go towards together. Okay, so this is what I'd like to say. My discussions we have a talk, global educational trend. This is the global educational trends. I won't talk anymore about what Prof. Sudin Harun has mentioned because of the pandemic, because of the disruption. So the world changed. The world have moved to another, status. So there are 4 issues. There are 4 issues that I consider as trend. The first is new global geography. New global geography. Not global geography, not local geography, but global geography. People are trying to be united. In some of the parts of the world, instead of working alone, they are bringing some 2, 3, 4 countries together, and they call it BRICS. Brazil, and then India. Then this thing happened, and it's happened also the collaboration between China and India. We call it CHIDE. So this collaboration between these 2 giants of the world, China and India, with populations of more than 1.4 million plus 1.4 million, I mean 2.8 million people. So the geography of the world, academic geography, political geography has changed. So this is what I call global geography. Okay, I will discuss a little bit here when I go to details of global geography, and I will mention whether Indonesian people or Indonesian student, Indonesian docent, Indonesian professors know or not that Indonesia is one of the emerging countries. How come? Indonesia is the only country in Southeast Asia that considered as emerging country. Why not Singapore? Why not Malaysia? Sometimes we thought that Singapore is stronger than Indonesia in many areas, but finally, Indonesia is the only in Southeast Asia that's considered as emerging 7. The rest in Muslim world is Turkey. I will discuss further on that. The second thing is new global demography. The demography, because of now, Ibu Sri is always asking me about mobility of students. I was in Indonesia for last week. I went to Tegal, I went to Surabaya, to Semarang, to Jakarta, to many others, in order talking about transnational migration for education. This thing will happen when, after 10 years, 20 years, global demography will change. The demography shape of the world will change. There will be a lot of Indonesian scholars, researchers who will work in Thailand. There'll be a lot of Indonesian scholars, researchers, I believe, among 400 plus here. There will be a lot more will go to the world of academics in different regions. I will discuss further. Then the third one is alternative move from locus to focus. I will discuss what is the locus, what is focus, why I try to show the move from locus to focus, especially after the pandemic and after disruption. The fourth one is the new wave of diplomacy. Now people are talking about soft power. Now people are talking about diplomacy which is not under, quote unquote, the foreign minister, under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but diplomacy in education, diplomacy in economy, diplomacy in some other parts. Okay, now Ibu Devi, in case that my computer stopped, please share my slide. Okay, I'm going to discuss a little bit about global geography and what is the emerging 7. If you Google it, just emerging 7, then Indonesia will come, China will come, India will come, Brazil will come, Mexico will come, Russia will come. You like it or not, it's another story. But people has already come up with this group of emerging 7, means the country which are emerging, at least like Turkey. I'm now living in Turkey. There are a lot of depression, suppressions of financial suppression, depression, until the exchange rate of Turkey is very, very low. But because of the economic structure, I believe, for those who are professors or even researchers in economics, you know that because of economic structure which are not like this, but more of like this or like this, so it is difficult for Turkish economy to be ruined in a fast span of economic life. So Indonesia is the same. You are more than 200 million or nearly 300 million people, even though sometimes you find that there are a lot of Indonesians who are still poor, but at the same time, Indonesian economy is very strong indeed. If you look the growth, you look at many indicators, you can find it. Then, if Indonesia is one of the emerging 7, what will be in our curriculum? Apa yang kita bisa masukkan dalam kurikulum SD-nya, SMP-nya, SMA-nya, dan universitas? Because you are now leading the world. You are now, people consider you as a leading country and as emerging 7. And Turkey is there, Russia is there. It means that if we really want to do connection or collaboration with the world of academic in the future, why don't you think of Brazil? Why don't you think of Mexico? Not only heading to the US, not only heading to the British education. You should go to China like me. I studied my PhD in China and I got Chinese friends now. After 10 years of studying in China, now I got friends who are now dean, directors, president of universities, and working in those and that. So when China is leading economic power, means that I got friends who are there. So this is what we have to change our curriculum to be global curriculum, not only local curriculum and not only global curriculum that lead to the West, because Western power especially in economic power is going down. So this is what I would like to let you think about that. I don't say yes or no. I don't say good or bad, but I want to say that there will be new global geography, and Indonesia is one of the leading geographic leader in the future. Okay, next I'll move to the second one. I want to discuss a little bit on new global demography. When we are talking about demography, the politic of numbers count. What I mean by politic of numbers of population. Bayangkan kalau di ASEAN, Indonesia kan the biggest country, Malaysia, Thailand, Brunei, Singapore, 4 countries come together, even still less than Indonesian population. It means that if you're talking about production, if you produce something, you produce any product of Indonesia and you can sell among Indonesian, or if I myself talking about a politic of numbers, how can I use this politic of numbers to apply in my export and import, in my investment? I want to invest in Indonesia because if I produce something, saya bawa jual di Indonesia, lebih baik saya bawa produk itu ke Malaysia karena orang Malaysia cuma 30 juta. Kalau saya it ideals, you know, in investment in terms of export import, one document, if I can bring to Indonesia, my product will be sold only to 30 million people, can be sold to only 30 million people. But if I do some products, halal product from Thailand, and then I deal all the documents needed, then I am able to export to Indonesia. It means that I can export to nearly 300 million people. Can you think about the demographies happen? And think about the Indonesian diaspora in Thailand, Indonesian diaspora in Malaysia, Indonesian diaspora in Brunei, and even in Singapore. Means that Indonesian is not in only Indonesia like Chinese. China is trying to show that there are 1.4 billion Chinese in China, and there are 200 million overseas Chinese worldwide, in UK, in US, in Vienna, in Australia, in wherever. And they are not asking those Chinese who are living in Thailand, Indonesia to come back to China. But that politic of numbers count when they try to connect with Chinese in other parts of the world and business done. Okay. The second one, educational migration. People are migrating. Now, when I was in Taiwan, I was surprised. The Indonesian student community is huge at the mosque. Everyone is greeting each other. Assalamualaikum Pak, selamat pagi Pak, bagaimana Pak? Ibu bagaimana? Bahasa Indonesia diomong-omongkan di Taipei itu. Di masjidnya, di kampusnya, di library-nya, di pasar-pasarnya. This is migration. And in case of Indonesian in Taiwan, is exactly educational migration that comes together with, along with workers migration. Okay. This is what I mean global demography. Mereka ini orang Indonesia ke Taipei masih menggunakan bahasa Indonesia. Mereka tidak lupa bahasa Indonesia, tapi mereka adalah somebody who are being already global citizen outside the country. The last one is technological transfer and mobility. This is what I mean by when something transferred to, demography comes. Kalau the transfer of technology, the mobility of the student, mobility of investment of businessmen, means that people are moving, people are going, people are coming and going from. Okay, I go next because time is not permit, and I'm afraid of my computer will be hang soon because of the battery. I go to the third point: alternative move from locus and focus. Alternative move from locus to focus. Okay, before the pandemic, before the disruption of education or whatever, when we want to study in Harvard, we have to go to Harvard. I have to apply for US visa. Then I have to fly from Thailand to New York. The direct flight is 19 hours. Then I go to New York. I have to get the residence. I have to do this, that, do this, that, do this, that. I have to pay and spend a lot of money. But now I don't have to go there. But I can enter Harvard. I can be student of Harvard. I can be student of SOAS in UK. I can be students of Lund in Sweden. I can be students of any country. See, so not where to go. This is the not where to go, not the locus, not the locality you go, but what you gain mean, what is your focus? What do you want from that professor in that university? Not that you stay there in Harvard, that you claim that I'm from Harvard because I stay in Harvard 5 years or 4 years or 2 years. But in the future, I am from Harvard because I study online with Professor John for 2 courses, 3 courses, you see? So people will pay more attention on focus rather than locus, rather than locality. How many, not how many to visit, but how many to deal. And sometime after disruption, after pandemic, you can deal online. You can use this dealing, and finally, after dealing, you are rich man. No need to get a business class or first class flight to fly to that place, but you can finish the deal once you use all kind of technology. Not numbers of places, but numbers of success in the future.
Mr. Sukri,
Materinya bagus banget.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid we have problems, maybe networking from Professor Sukri.
Hello. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Now I got
okay.
you.
Okay.
Can you show my
continue.
slide? Can you show my slide? Then I'll continue.
Okay.
Now I'm
Please.
using my handphone, my mobile phone. Can you
See.
share my slides now? And you go to the page that I'm gonna finish. I'm halfway now.
Okay.
Can you show my slides, Bu?
Suaranya ibu dengar dulu.
Apakah bisa share slide saya ataupun tidak?
Okay.
Saya sudah kirim
Yes.
slide kepada Ibu.
Yes.
Okay. In order not to waste the time, I will continue. And then if Ibu Tevi bisa show the slide, then okay. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Then you go next. You go next to the. You go to the slide number. I think go. Go one more. Okay, stop. Okay, now what I like to say here is that no. Just now. Alternative. No. Focus to locus. From locus to focus. No. Go up. Yang tadi. Okay. This one. I'll go faster. No worry. It is not the number of places you visit, but numbers of success in the future. Jadi, quality assurance and some other things that people will ask you in the future is not about how many countries you go, how many visiting professors places that you go, but they will talk about success, whether you publish or whether you conduct research, joint research, like what Prof. Student has mentioned. Go to my Google Scholar and you can see 100 publications, whatever. You see, this is what people will talk in the future about your success rather than your places that you visited. And the last one is not how many friends you have, but what friends for. In the future, people are not counting how many friends you have from many countries, but what friends for academic purposes, for business deal, for sightseeing or whatever. So things will be more focused than before after disruption and pandemic. Next slide, please. Okay. There will be, inshallah, in the future, what we call new wave of global diplomacy, social-cultural diplomacy, but I call it people ambassador. You see, there are social-cultural diplomacy. There are a lot of things that we do between Thailand, Indonesia, Thailand and Malaysia, Malaysia and Singapore, Singapore and China, China and Arab countries, which are not under the authority of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but it's more of social cultural diplomacy, which is people ambassador. People diplomacy is very, very important. I don't have time to discuss on that, but I believe that you all know that what is people diplomacy, but rarely we talk about people ambassador. We are in fact ambassador. I come to Turkey. Within 4 or 5 days in Turkey, I have done a lot of things tremendously. Yesterday, I was with Deputy Minister of Education, and we discussed a lot about development of 2 countries. Before that, I meet this and that. You know, this is what I mean. Socio-cultural diplomacy comes into the scene after the pandemic and disruption. The second, sport diplomacy. You can see as Asian Games, you can see SEA Games, you can see Olympic Games. Athletic ambassador, what I mean. You see, because we got idols and heroes, you know, we always, you know, cheer them. We always talk about, oh, this one. And we always take photo with them. We always put, you know, their photos in our laptop, whatever. The third one is health diplomacy. And to be specific, COVID diplomacy in my case. I was, as a, you know, a professor in international relations and politics, I was surprised when medical doctors from Mexico. Can you imagine that Mexico and the US is superpower? Mexico is, of course, near to the US, but at the same time, not really. Even though Mexico is an emerging country, but US people look at Mexico like, okay, you are to gain rather than to give, you see? But what happened when US is facing a pandemic, when US have less number of medical doctors to serve medical needs in their country, Mexican medical doctor landed in the land of the US, which are stronger in power, to cure the pandemic problem of the US people. Can you imagine? It means that in health diplomacy, in COVID diplomacy, the weaker can do much better than the stronger sometimes. Okay, can you imagine that? This is the global education that we have to think about. What kind of education that we have to prepare our people to be able to work at that level. The last one is educational diplomacy. This is what about us. Today, this conference is, in fact, we are working as ambassadors. I call it academic ambassadors. Ibu Suri is, because I know Ibu Suri more or less about 4 or 5 years, 3 or 4 years. So she has been working a lot on academic networking. So this is, in fact, academic ambassadors. And we can do sometimes much easier and much better and faster than Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide, please. I finished my discussion already. Next slide is how to move ourselves to be global. Look at that. Next slide. Try to draw the fish. Not the same like you draw before. A lot of ASEAN people, okay, please draw the fish. Normally, we draw the fish on the left. Normally, ASEAN people are drawing the heading of the fish to the left. But if somebody drawing the fish to the left, today you start drawing the fish to the left, to the right. If you draw the fish on the right before, try to draw the fish on the left. You try to do this in order to know that even a simple thing like drawing a fish to be the same like we did, but changing of the different heading, it is not easy. So what about the mindset that need a lot of things? Okay, the second, in global education, there are 2 choices of us. If we want to be the one on top, these people will be, yes, Mr. Yes, yes we can do, yes we can do. The line itu garisnya sama itu. Tapi oleh karena mindset kita itu kalau kita orang terbuka, jadi kita buka. Bisa nggak Pak? Bisa. Bisa nggak Bu? Bisa. Bisa aja. Tapi kalau kita yang garisan yang di bawah itu, oh no, difficult. Oh, we go to Thailand, we go conference that. No, difficult. Oh no, they don't have money. No. Semuanya no. Tapi kalau kita di atas, kita ya bisa. Tapi ada keterhadannya, ada ininya. So you have 2 type of choices that you can think about new trends of education in the future. Next one, please. Next one is good for our young scholars, our students. I think about 400-500 is coming to our conference. We are Indonesian, we are Thais, we are Malays, we are this and that. We feel like ourselves is very small. We feel ourselves is very small. We feel ourselves like, wow, very minute. When we go to the US, we go to UK, we go to Japan. Wow, mereka sudah hebat sekali mereka. No, we have to think that even though we are small, Kathy, but our heart must be strong. One day we will become lion. So this is what I would like to stress here. Okay, now I'm going to close my presentation by showing these photos. Through doing, okay, terus Pak, langsung. Yes, this activity is like bringing the wall down, and then when the wall down, the wall will become the bridge, bridging between me and Ibu Tevi, Thailand, and Indonesia, Prof. Sudin from Malaysia. So jadi benteng-benteng semua ini akan jadi jambatan, jadi titian untuk kita kerjasama dalam academy, inshallah in the future. Next, please. We will work together like this. You remember the first photo I showed to you. You are pushing me down. I'm pulling up, but now we are going to work together in academic world as we are academic ambassador. Next, please. Yes, you are expert on one thing. I am on another thing. We don't have to force others to do what we want, but we let them do what they want to do, and then inshallah people will be happy with that of kind of education. Next one, going to finish now. At the end of the day, at the end of everything, we want everyone to be hero. We want education in Thailand, in Malaysia, Indonesia, or even education of the world is producing happy men who are number one, not only number 1, 2, 3, then no 4, 5. I want everyone to be number one, inshallah, to be champion of himself, champion of his family, champion of his nation. And next one is, yes, in our society, we are two group of people. The first is the shuyukh, the elders. The second is the youngest, the shabab. So when shuyukh and shabab working together, Indonesian will be prosperous. When young people and and senior people in Thailand working together, all experiences they have, they transfer to the young one. All energy that the young one has can continue the mission of the elders. Inshallah, our country, our regions, our world, our globe will be, inshallah, like what I want to show now, the last one. Yes, please, next. We are to move the world. We let the world move us for a long, long time. Now it's time for ASEAN people, time for Indonesia, time for Thailand, time for emerging countries to move the world according to what is supposed to be moved. And the last one is, I would like to say thank you, Bu. Thank you in English. Terima kasih dalam bahasa. Dan okun in Cambodian language. Kopchai in Laos language. Kizutin Badai in Myanmar language. Salamat po in Tagalog, Philippines. Came on in Vietnamese language. And finally, Thai language is Khop Kun. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for Mr. Prof. Sukri Langkutai, PhD, who has is very impressed and in very interesting topic. And also in this good opportunity, we would like to make MOU with Patani University, and maybe desk to desk. Mr. Professor Sukri between Pancasakti University and Stima IMMI, and we will discuss it later. Also to the other presenters, Mr. Josa and Mr. Sudin also. And thank you. Now we are in questions and answer session, and I will read the questions. Okay. Okay. Diversity of technology knowledge among generation become the most challenge at the issues of local network. how your opinion about this, Mr. Sukri? Yes.
Can you mention the question again?
Okay, the diversity of tech knowledge among generations become the most challenged at this issue of local network. And how about this? And how about your opinion about this?
I am not sure whether I understand the question correctly or not, but I think when we are talking about networking, there are four types of networking. The first is insiders networking. People who are inside that you mentioned, local and with local people. This is the first category of networking. How can we communicate among the local people? Those who are from inside, orang Jakarta aslinya sekarang juga kerja di Jakarta. The second group is inside outsiders, orang Jakarta, orang Indonesia yang berada di Thailand. I call it inside outsiders. Orang dalam tapi mereka sekarang ini di luar. These are also important. Why? Because they are ambassadors of Indonesia to do something good for Indonesia, to tell something good for Indonesian to other people outside their country. So this is also important. Being local, not only doing everything among the local people inside, but local people from inside can go outside to talk about good things of your country, your institution, your university, and even yourself. The third group, the third category is outside insiders, people from outside, but studying in Jakarta, students from Myanmar, studying in Bekasi, for example. They are also a communicating elements that to bring good things from outside to Indonesian culture, to Indonesian community, to Indonesian people. This is also a technology transfer that happened also. So it means that the more you travel, the more people are traveling to your country, the more people of your country traveling to outside, goodness will happen. Not only communicating among others, among ourselves. The last one, sometimes somebody who are outside talking on something about Indonesia with somebody else from outside as well. Never been to Jakarta, never been to Kalimantan, never been to Sulawesi, but they can be some people who are writing about good things about Indonesia. And when they posted in Facebook, in Instagram, in TikTok about what good Indonesia, even though they never come to Indonesia, but sometimes Indonesian in the eyes of the people outside is positive. So I don't know whether I answer your question or not, but what I would like to know when we are talking about local communication or local networking, being local is not only, you have to be only in local, but you can move out and there will be people from outside can move in to become, outside in or inside out. So at the end of the day, the whole concept of communicating or networking will happen between local and global and local. Thank you very much, bro.
Okay, thank you.
Next, please.
Okay. Do you still have any questions for the audience, maybe? Raise your hand and just ask the questions.
If you have questions, fine. If you don't have questions now, that's also fine, because I will leave my email.
Yes.
My email,
Yes.
and then my WhatsApp number. So any participant want to discuss with me more, please, most welcome. And don't be afraid of, I will say no or disagree, because I love disagreement. Because when I say something, then you disagree with me. I said, when you have thesis, then there will be antithesis. Then inshallah, there will be synthesis happen. So that's a good thing. And then I will leave also my WhatsApp number here. Now I'm typing my email and then WhatsApp number. So you can just say yes or no 6680336 Yes, that's my number. So you can discuss with me online, or you can ask me. I may come back to your question and answer you later, because this month I'm traveling globally.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
thank you
you.
very much, bro.
Well, the one things that I can conclude for this presentation, how to move ourselves to be global. Just only 3 points: change your head, change your hand, and change your heart. Okay, thank you very much for Mr. Professor Sukri Langpute, PhD, who have give the very special and interesting topics. And finally, we are in the last part of these sessions. We would like to say thank you once more for the presenter and all of the audience for active participation, and hopefully the presentation will give me more benefit for us, and inshallah we will meet again in the other topics. Thank you for your attention. And also I give the highly appreciation for the presenter, Mr. Professor Sukri Langpute, PhD. And from me as a moderator in these sessions, thank you very much. And then I return to our MC today, Mrs. Dr. Sriwatini, MPD. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Please, Miss Sriwatini.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Nurul Kusumadevi MM, to host this IMMI International Conference. You cheer up. Okay, thank you very much. And thank you so much, Prof. Sukri. I will you come to Jakarta, Prof. Bila jalan-jalan di Jakarta balik, Prof. I wait. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. I immediately invite Mr. Rion AMPD to host this IMMI International Conference about Education, Economic, and Technology Information 2022, Research Resilient the Post-COVID-19 World. Please welcome Mr. Rion AMPD. Hello, Mr. Rion. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to moderator, Mrs. Dr. Sriwatini MPD. And now we come to the last session, the last speaker of this conference. This is an international conference on education, economy, and information technology 2022 with the title Research Resilience in the Post-COVID-19 World. My name's Yon Ae. I'm going to be moderator today. As we know that it has been 3 years in the pandemic, and we believe that every country is struggling to cope with it. And our university, I mean Pancasakti University and Stima IMMI, are the university in Indonesia want to give a positive contribution for that. And through this conference, we have speaker who has joined virtually with us right now. We hope that the audiences can get new insight from the speaker. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to greet our speaker today. Good morning, Professor Janos Josa. Are you still with us, Prof. Janos?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. You have joined, yeah, since 8 o'clock this morning. I see that, yeah. Thank you, great, yeah. Okay, the presentation is around 30 minutes, maybe, yeah. And then after that, there will be question and answer for about 5 minutes. For your information, our audience are from faculties, researchers, and students also. So it comes from various background. And all of the audiences can ask question later by raising your hand, or you can type. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now we invite our speaker, Professor Janas Josa. But before that, I'm going to read your profile, Prof. Janas Josa. Okay. Can I see my screen? Sorry. Yeah, Professor Janas Josa is a professor from head department of hydraulic and water resources engineering. He has also become director, from 2015, 2021 in Budapest University of Technology and Economics. President of Hungarian Directors Conference 2018 and 20, and then the head of University Academy Research Group on Water Management in the 2012, and also he has become the chairman of the National Hydro Science Program of Hungarian Academy of Science, and then the chairman of the Division of Engineering Science of Hungarian Academy of Science, and also he ever become the chairman of the Division of Engineering Sciences of Hungarian Academy of Science. And then office address, Prof. Janas address is Budapest University of Technology and Economic, H111 Budapest, Mugitem, RKP, third building, ground floor, 12F, Hungary. One number 3614631496, and mobile 363096468181, and email jossa.janos@bme.hu. And then degrees, Professor Janas is a full member of Hungarian Academy of Science from 2019, and also correspondent members of the Hungarian Academy of Science, Dr. Habil, academic doctor, and also MSc in Living Engineering, Budapest University Technology in 1981. And also she has also teaching activity, okay, and he has Professor Janas main expertise is on hydrodynamic and interprocess in shallow surface waters, and then principle of investigator in number of exploratory and project, International Hydro and Environment Scientific Council member, and also advisor of the Edinburgh Research Partnership. And then he also became the editor board membership. Yeah, the first one, Journal of Hydraulic Research from 1996 to 1998, Periodica Polytechnica, and also Journal of Hydrology, and so on. Okay, and also he has some research about and research development project. Some of them is interaction mechanism of physics processes via space and time scales in shallow lakes, and then updating of flood peak water level estimation of river Danube and main tributes in Hungary, and so on. There are so many kinds of research that has been done by Professor Janas. And also, yeah, some of the article has been published in several journal. Yeah. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Professor Janos Josa, you have 3 minutes to present your work or your paper. Okay.
Okay.
So now
Thank you.
time for
Thank
yours.
you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I then try to share the screen to do the presentation myself. Can you see it? Can you see it?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, it's all right. And now I will proceed. Can you see that I changed the slides? Can you follow that I changed the slides? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, yes.
Okay, can you see that I go slide by slide? So please answer if you can see that I, from slide 1, I move to slide 2, 3, 4. Can you follow that?
Yes, yes, I follow you.
Okay, okay, then I start. So thanks for the introduction. Of course, I have sent a very long CV. I'm just asking you to upload the CV to your material and make it available for all the attendees. Anyway, so it was mentioned that I used to be a rector for my university, which is in Hungary, Budapest, the capital of the city, and in an abbreviated way, we call it BME. And during the pandemic time, I was director, and I was also the president of the Hungarian Rectors Conference, which consists of 64 universities, all the universities in Hungary. So I was in quite a key role fighting the pandemics, if you know what I mean. Just a short view on Budapest, the capital, and then this is the on the left hand side you see the campus area of our university. Let me move on. A short view on the inner yard. I guess it is, this photo is taken in springtime. Then moving on, this is the main entrance of the central building. We are very proud of those statues representing different engineering disciplines. But in the pandemic time, one morning, they appeared in a mask. It was not organized. Somebody, maybe some of the students came and put a mask on the face of the statues, and those masks stayed there all along the hard time in pandemic in Hungary. Just some figures on our institution. We are now just 240 years old. Teaching went on in Latin, as it was the case in Europe, and then in the middle of the 19th century, we moved to Hungarian from Latin. And what is also important to mention that in 1924, that was the year we enrolled women students for the first time. After the Second World War, the name became Technical University of Budapest, and then right at 2000, Budapest University of Technology and Economics, because we extended our profile by a faculty of economical and social sciences. A bit later, we also extended our profile by natural sciences. We have got 8 faculties covering all engineering disciplines. Altogether 7 departments, and then on an average we have got 23,000 students, out of which a bit more than 10% are international students, and this number is still growing. On the staff, 1,300 academic staff, and more than half of them have got the PhD or DLA degree, or they are members of the Hungarian Academy of Sciences. All that has to be compared to the size of the country. We have got 10 million inhabitants, 10 million Hungarian people, and the surface area of the country is a bit less than 100,000 square kilometers. So the speakers before my talk spoke from countries much larger than that, whereas in Europe, in the European Union, the size of Hungary is very typical to a number of other countries: Denmark, Holland, Belgium, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. So we are in a kind of group of the smaller size countries. On our mission, I mean institutional mission, we believe in sound practice-oriented Bachelor of Science education, innovation-driven masters. The PhD should be problem-focused, knowledge-oriented research. World-class research-based education is also an important issue. Tackling, of course, future challenges in everything. So altogether, a symbiosis of science, innovation, and technology, and with all that serving the society, the development, and sustainability. Just a short look at our budget, the distribution. Half of our budget comes from the state. Research, development, and innovation brings a bit less than 1/3 our annual budget. And then we also have the tuition fee income and then other incomes. So it's kind of state-run institution, the Budapest University of Technology and Economics. Then turning to the COVID experience on governance. Anyway, it started a kind of crisis management from March 2020 onward. I remember it quite well, as I was the kind of leader and the main coordinator of that as director of the university. We considered it as a special task. That's why we established a special task force coordination committee dedicated to that. That was established, and the leaders of the university and operative directors became members to that. We tried to make proactive measures in many cases prior to national lockdown. And then what is very important for the very peculiar education issues, Special Institution Committee for Digital Education Transformation was also established. They did an excellent work. We transferred all our education to an online digital form in a couple of weeks, I would say. Internal communication went directly, home office as an option occurred, and it went to workload. digital education. I just mentioned the recommended digital tools defined in our institution. That was Microsoft Teams and Moodle. Streaming services have been installed, and various digital methods for lectures, classes, labs, exam, and, for instance, PhD defenses were introduced and successfully used. We had to recalculate the state finances versus our overall income. It was a hard time. The government collected a bit more money for kind of social expenses, and it resulted in reducing a bit our normal state financing to BME, and we had to really recalculate everything and make a kind of reasonable rearrangement of that. Let me go on. Student numbers. The Hungarian students number stayed stable. As far as the international students are concerned, their number reduced. The number of really fee-paying on a private basis, fee-paying students number reduced in the beginning, but then stabilized, and now it's returning to the previous one, even getting higher and higher than that. Then increased number of scholarship application. You have to know that the Hungarian government established the so-called Stipendium Hungaricum type of scholarship, which is a very solid governmental program. We have got bilateral agreement on that with a number of countries. I presume with most of the countries from where there are participants and attendees at this particular conference, and we offer that. Then there are applications, then local committees select the applications that are then sent to Hungary, and we have a kind of second screening, and then the candidate, and then the granted people are selected finally. Let me go on. Just a very rough distribution of our international students as far as their origin is concerned. Brazil and China and Turkey are the first place, and from the European Union, France and United States, India, in the kind of second group, and in the third group, Russia, and so on and so on. It is very interesting, and it makes a diversity of our people. In the last graduation ceremony, we just counted, there were students graduating from 49 countries. We are research universities. I'll just let you go through the disciplines. We are strong and are going to be stronger and stronger. I guess all these are kind of very much in fashion type of disciplines: artificial intelligence, smart cities, robotics, and so on and so on. Also biotechnology, nanophysics, and in civil engineering, we are very strong in disaster prevention, including flood waves, droughts, and so on and so on. And then the focus is not on defending, but on preventing. Let me go on. A very interesting item from our work related to COVID. So it was my university, and the work was coordinated myself, that developed the first Hungarian respiratory machine for mass production. It happened in the springtime of 2020. Here you can see the event when the kind of mass production started in the country. Myself, are standing over there, and there are 3 ministers taking part at this very event, and they were all very proud and very, very thankful to our university work on all this. Interesting that once we had great troubles on the Earth, we turned toward the space. So we developed this, during that time, we developed a so-called pocket cube satellite, 5 centimeters times 5 centimeters by 5, very, very smart inside, and we managed to launch it. The fact is that I tried to show, I happen to have a copy of that. So this is the satellite which was launched last year to the space by Hungary, and it focuses on the electric type of contamination of the space, collects very, very valuable data, and also plays a role in the education of space engineering in our university. I will go on. Partnership, of course, has been influenced and impacted by the COVID effects. So most of the things and communication moved to the online area, so to speak. Soft contacts was a bit doubtful. Efficiency was found correlated with relation proximity. New contacts were possible, probably practically impossible to create. And everything moved finally to digital format. The European University Association, EUA, made also, this is the largest association for European university, made efforts, and also the European Union Central Committee, how to increase the communication and the co-working of good European universities. So they created the so-called European University Alliance, which was a new adventure and challenge towards united higher education in Europe. It provides, if you have such a network, it provides a so-called European degree, and it joins the campuses and creates a virtual campus. And in the COVID time, the development of the digital communication and the online communication helped a lot to do that. And this degree would be worldwide recognition. We happen to join the so-called ELISA network, which is one of the largest and strongest European University Alliance, 9 universities from 7 countries, and it is coordinated by the University of Technology of Madrid, Spain. Let me go on. I already mentioned the partnerships. So the fact is that though our experience has been very, very fortunate with the online digital communication, but we at the technical, or at our University of Technology, we still believe that an important part of engineering education needs face-to-face education, lab work, in situ terrain courses, and so on and so on. So what I'm going to say is that our university show must go on, but certainly it was enriched by the digital technology. So what I believe in the future as an emeritus rector is just the fact. So we have produced a fortunate, advantageous mixture of the face-to-face things to digital online things, and it should be considered discipline character dependent. There are disciplines which are easy to transfer by by an online way, but there are really disciplines or parts of the curricula that really need face-to-face education. Example of the innovation and collaboration in artificial intelligence, which did not slow down during the pandemic time because it's much on programming, informatics, and so on. And so very, very famous international companies joined the university, and we worked together, first of all, on autonomous driving. In one of the keynote speakers talked about the future taxi drivers and so on and so on. We also work on changing the world in that. And also another strongly AI related field is creation of smart cities. And then one example from my closer field of interest, I am civil engineer and hydraulic engineer specialization. So in the last couple of years, we had a Danube transnational program. This is greenish indication of the countries. We happen to be the lead partner of a large consortium, and we investigated, without considering the borders as limits, the catchment of River Danube, which is the second largest river in Europe, and as focusing especially on the sediment budget and the changing. Why? Because quite a number of hydropower plant was constructed on the river system, and before their construction, now there is no time to explain the left-hand side figure, that was the cumulative sediment transport growth downstream in the river. But with the hydropower plant constructions, the river is dammed from place to place, and it will retain the sediment, and sediment transport will be reused, and it will have a negative impact on aquatic life, morphology, and so on and so on. There are tendencies also to protect nature, to protect environment, even to restore classical situations, to do that. So a kind of reverse transfer from the right-hand side to the left-hand side, it's a very difficult work. The new project framework is Horizon Europe. I just mentioned here some main facts to be considered once you are going to be successful in that. And then two last slides on the kind of message of the European University Association, the largest association in Europe, as I mentioned. What can I say a year ago? The first group speaks about that on the firm fact that after COVID-19, the world will be different from the one of before COVID-19, but one should consider which changes will be permanent and which will be temporary. There is a clear need for reflection on the large-scale and long-term transformations brought about by pandemic. Quality assurance assessments, digital education and digitalization in general, mobility and internationalization, university governance and management, and regulations for universities need to address the impact of pandemic on the association in itself, just in the light of the vision, universities without walls. So what lessons can be learned from the pandemic, and what worked and what did not? This work is still going on. Second group, Europe will only be as strong as its universities. Happy to hear that by myself as a professor and former rector. There is a need, however, for solidarity to maintain that, cohesion and effective collaboration, addressing underinvestment to strengthen research performance, as much cooperative as possible, fight narrow-minded nationalist reflexes, free movement of ideas, talent, labor, and other resources is paramount. Don't waste the crisis. Demonstrate the societal values of research and science. Grow universities' impact, ensure that the knowledge and evidence they generate are heard by decision makers. It must be heard by decision makers. Last but one is just to show, this is the figure on the photo on our last education international students graduation ceremony. Nearly 300 students were given the degree. So you can see that we are on the way to return to classical graduation ceremonies. And let me move to the last one. It is the previous graduation ceremony where only one single student per faculty took part. This is myself, and that was the way we celebrate that behind those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 students, there were nearly 300 students celebrating the same. You can see that though I am already 65, I could still jump quite in a considerable way. Thank you for your attention. That was my talk. And since in the last but one keynote speech, the Hungarian thank you was missing, then I let you know that. Köszönöm, once again. Köszönöm. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Janos Joksa. We know that the Budapest University of Technology of Economic is the most significant university in Hungary, and it is considered as the world oldest institute technology which has university rank and structure. Is it right, Prof. Janos?
It is.
Okay, that's really great. Maybe someday we can learn much from you. Okay. Okay, we know that this pandemic also affects several aspects of life in Hungarian. It is such as governments, education, economic, and so on. Okay, Prof. Janos, we got new insight from your point of view. Okay, thank you very much once again, Professor Joksa. Okay, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Now we move to the question and answer session. Okay, actually, the participant want to ask question. As I said just now, you can type on chat box or directly you can raise your hand. Okay, there is a question from Lia, Bulia Kurniawati. Okay, Bulia, please.
Thank you, Mr. Yon.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Prof. Jonas. Nice to meet you, and thanks for insight for about education in Hungary. And it's interesting for me to know about the curriculum in your country. I think about the level curriculum, how to process implementation about the process curriculum in your country in the level education, maybe from early childhood until the higher education. And then is there the changing the curriculum for time or period? Maybe pergantian curriculum changing, and then what the uniqueness of education or curriculum in your country? I think that's enough about the question. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So our education system is quite kind of classical. So we have the elementary school, then we have the secondary school, and then you apply for admission to a university. There is a rather strong screening of the candidates to the universities. This year we had around 100,000 people applying for admission to universities, and 70% of them succeeded to do that. This has to be increased. We know that our modern time society needs more and more citizens with a university degree, and not to mention people, because there are engineers. So this is the kind of army to run the country, but you also need the colonels that will lead all that, and that will organize development work, research work, and so on and so on. Research starting from exploratory research to basic research, applied research, and turning all to innovation, and finally even coming up with patents and to make money and application on all that. Going to the curricula of the things. So in the last 2 years, I believe we translated all our teaching material to a digital format, so we can reuse it any time. And we are really in the period in which we would like to see which part is more advantageous to keep in digital, and what are the forms and what are the disciplines and the parts of the knowledge base that needs a kind of face-to-face personal contacts. And the same is when you at the examinations, the exams. So a year ago I ran oral exam online for 200 students. That was a very interesting experience, because you couldn't really give, how to say, so it was not a normal one. So I got the student on the screen, I started to talk to them, and I turned more and more deeper and deeper, and asked more and more questions on the given disciplines, and most of them enjoyed that, came with me, and resulted very good marks. So a kind of summary on your question.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Josa. Yeah, I think it's clear, yeah. Professor Josa has explained in detail, yeah, about the implementation of curriculum in Budapest University. Thank you, Prof. We get new insight from you, and maybe later we can learn from you. Okay, maybe we can we jump to the next question. There are several questions from the chat box. The first one is from Arif Tito. As one of the consequences of post-pandemic, the nature of higher education and university has drastically changed. The question is, how research can support University Indonesia become to be world-class university? Your time, Prof.
So should I answer it myself?
Yes.
Yeah, because
Yes.
I have I have never been to Indonesia,
Sorry.
though I have heard a lot, and we even have very strong cooperation faculties with Indonesian universities, and it's very, very fruitful cooperation. You are a country which is much larger than Hungary. You are a country which is even comparable to the size of the whole European Union. So I guess you have got very strong universities. So I still believe in a clever combination of the different tools. So first of all, you should have your own profile, each university, but you should also have, and I do believe you have also an Indonesian university, Indonesian conference of universities, like the Hungary one, that is a strong network to distribute the kind of the useful part of the new technology and the change views and so on and so on. So certainly keeping part of the new digitalized material, keep on talking to the students and get their reflection, because even if they try to give their best, they are unable to follow, you know. So just an example of myself, and also mention that, so to offer something digital is different from offering something in the so-called e-learning. E-learning is a different word, and then it needs different knowledge. So when PowerPoint appeared, then I switched to PowerPoint presentation in my base hydraulics lectures. But then I noticed that the most of the students stayed in the lecture hall as in a cinema, watched me, but did not digest the material. So after a couple of years, I returned to the blackboard and I gave up the material, the PowerPoint material, and I took the chalk and wrote on the blackboard. I also used colored chalk and so on and so on. And then it became, as was seen then in the results of the semester, it increased a lot the level of understanding. So what I am going to say as a summary, set up committees, working committees on trying to find the best compromise for the Indonesian people, the Indonesian young generation. Young means that much younger than myself, probably even younger than you, if you know what I mean. Those young people have got their own language, which is their own. It depends very much also on the internet, on the virtual world, if you know what I mean. All that has to be coupled with our classical knowledge and teaching, education techniques. Kind of very shortly, since we are moving from the so-called Gutenberg time to the John von Neumann galaxy. And it needs work, it needs patience, and it needs energy to come out of that in a successful way.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Janos. We get the idea, yeah? Okay, thank you for the advice, yeah? Okay, maybe we come to the next question from Busri. do we still have the time?
Very
What
much
happened?
behind the schedule. We are very much behind the schedule.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Prof. That's why I want to ask the moderator first. Is it okay if we continue?
Yeah, my email address is available.
Okay.
You also know my WhatsApp access, which means that I am open to receive and answer questions anytime.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Yeah, for the question that have been answered yet, maybe you can chat on email, yeah, Prof.
Right.
Okay,
right.
or WA, yeah, WA. You can send
Right.
the question on WA on email to Prof. Janos, yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Janos Josa, for joining us, yeah. Pancasakti University and Stima IMMI in the International Conference on Education, Economy, Information Technology 20 and 22 with the title Research Resilience in the Post-COVID-19. We really appreciate it. Hope to see you again on the next occasion. And also for the audiences, thank you very much for being wonderful participant in these conferences. And we hope to see you again in the real seasons. Thank you very much, Prof. Janos Josa, once again. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I give it back to moderator, Mrs. Dr. Sriwatini MPD. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Rion AE MPD, to host this event international conference. And thank you so much, Prof. Jonas Josa. Success always for you. We will you come to Jakarta to reminiscing memories in Jakarta in Kedutaan Hongari Kuningan Jakarta, Bro. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Bro. Okay, I will you. Hello. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Samsuri SPD MPD, Head of LLDT Wilayah 4 Jawa Barat Banten. Or present this event, Prof. Dr. Haris Hedriana SPD MPD, Chairman Paguyuban Profesor LLDT Wilayah 4 Jakarta Jawa Barat Banten. And thank you very much, Dr. and Senior M. Budi Jarmiko, MSI, Chairman of Indonesia Private Higher Education Association. And thank you very much, Dr. and Senior Parstianti NMP, Head of LLDT Wilayah 3 DKI Jakarta. And thank you very much, Professor Sudin Harun, Kuala Lumpur Business School, Malaysia. And thank you very much, Professor Shukri Lamputi, PhD from Patani University, Thailand. And thank you very much, Dr. Jonas Josa, Budapest University of Technology and Economy, Hungary. Your presentation and performance the best and cheer up. Chayo, chayo, chayo. Before the closing, please, Mr. Leon, help me please. Are you ready, Mr. Rion AE, to conduct to take the picture together to documentation? Hello, Mr. Rion AE. Hello.
Okay.
Okay. Please help me please to conduct to take the picture together to documentation. Okay.
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 I will take the screenshot. Okay, the first slide. Foto aja kali ya. Wait a moment. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, the second slide. 1, 2, 3. The next slide. The third slide. Smile, yeah, everybody. Please smile. Okay, the next slide. Okay. Next. Okay. The next slide. The ninth slide. 10 slide. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15.